What's up, guys? My name is Richard, and in this video, I am super excited to share with you exactly how over the last few years, I've actually gotten into the best shape of my life. I've transformed my mental health. I've developed crazy new levels of confidence, and I've been able to create lifelong habits that are going to anchor me in and make this process almost effortless. And so what's exciting is I'm also going to share with you some stories of dozens of people that I've been able to help do the same thing over the last 6 months. And I'm going to share some of their stories with you, but I'm also going to, for the very first time, I'm actually going to share the exact process, okay? The exact formula, the exact tips and secrets that we use in this video. I'm going to break down everything. I'm literally not going to hold anything back. And so I'm going to share some crazy value in this video, and whatever you do, make sure you watch it all the way to the end, okay? So let's go ahead and dive in. So like I said, not only have I been able to do this, but I've been able to help dozens of other people do the same thing. And so I want to show you some of my client success stories and some of these testimonials, just to build an extra layer of trust with you so that you know that, this isn't isolated to me or to one person or one individual, but this can really work for anybody, okay? So first we got Dusty. So Dusty, great friend, great client now. And when him and I first met, he actually hadn't slept in 3 years. He was really struggling with motivation, and he just knew that he was supposed to be living his life at a higher level, but he just couldn't unlock it. And, he says here at the end of his testimonial, he said, I feel like I'm firing on all cylinders, right? Then we have Scott, who, is a business owner as well, just like Dusty. Entrepreneur, father, and he had undergone some changes in his life, and he just said he felt stuck, he felt unhealthy, and the program was so good that it actually has now saved him money in lifestyle changes. So just by making some changes to his lifestyle, the money he invested in himself by going all in and taking action on this, he's actually saved money compared to what he used to do, which is incredible. Now, Etienne, this next one, this guy really needed help with nutrition and food and incorporating the right exercise, but also really cultivating mindfulness and the inner game, right? And so I was able to help him. He says, create a lasting impact in his life and his health and his overall well-being. And he says the accountability part was what he found to be the most lasting. So we had an amazing experience together. And then the next one is Robert. So Robert, him and I actually met surfing, and we have that in common. We both love surfing, but he was going through some challenging times in that season of his life. And, this actually helped him to regain control of his mental health, his physical health, and get him into what he calls his daily rhythm, right? Which has just transformed his life. And you could see his photo of what happened for him in just 12 weeks. Now, the next one is Jeff. So Jeff and I have actually known each other for a long time. And he saw what I was doing, and he was like, man, I want in on this. And, he's 52 years old, 52 years young. And, he says here he lost 45 pounds in 90 days, which is absolutely insane. And he says he feels like he's 30 again, and just got so much love for this guy. It was amazing working with him. And then we have Jordan. So, he is a business owner, owns gyms, is a competitive athlete. I would consider him to be a dangerous man, if you know what I mean. And, this, he said, he really wanted to take his health and fitness to the next level. And that this really helped him with his diet and when his nutrition, as he was actually training for a competition, but also helped him to remove alcohol from his life, which has been extremely powerful. And that's something that has stuck with him ever since he finished, and will be now his new operating system. And the next one is Keston. So Keston and I, got on a call, and he said, he's like, bro, I'm super healthy already, but I want to drop some weight. And so I was able to give him an exact roadmap, an exact formula, and actually break down for him, here's some simple things that you can do every day, and some habits that you can develop and he was able to drop 30 pounds in 3 months. And you could see here, his before and after of what he looks like now. He looks like a totally different dude, and has a whole new level of energy. And then another one here, Mr. Jeff, who again, him and I, we got on a call, and he just said, dude, I feel fatigued. I feel tired. I'm lacking the motivation, and he already knew what to do, but he was having a hard time just breaking through and doing it. And this program allowed him to get things into alignment and actually, bring the different pieces of the puzzle together. And now, you can't keep him out of a gym. And you could see this picture. This is actually only 7 weeks of him going through this transformation. And you could see the results that he's gotten, which is absolutely incredible. So guys, not only did Scott and Jeff and Etienne and Dusty, have these types of results, but I want to share with you what actually happened for me, because this process and this journey that I've been on has been, it's been amazing, but it's also been challenging, and it's also been painful, and it's also been, one of these seasons of my life where I've really had to dig deep, but have uncovered and discovered some absolutely incredible things and some transformational, habits and disciplines and really, tips and techniques and things that I do now on a daily basis that have almost become effortless now. But in the beginning, I was in the middle of it, and I had to go through it just like everyone else, to go through that process. And it was painful at times. And so, going back to me as a kid, all right, I want to take you guys way back. I grew up in rural, small town, Alberta, Canada. It gets down to like, minus 30 sometimes in the winter. It's not the North Pole, but you can see it from there. You know what I mean? So I was a kid that loved sports. I loved, I loved working with my hands. I was very creative, very curious kid. I was always outside. I was always, I'd come home, my mom, I'd always come home and I'd either need stitches or I need to go to the hospital to get, bandaged up or get a cast on a broken bone or something like that. But I started playing hockey, and I fell in love with sports, and I really wanted to go to be a professional hockey player. But unfortunately, I had an injury here. I'll show you the scar on my arm. I had an injury in my last year of private school. And, I actually had to have a surgery. I almost had to learn how to reuse the arm, like how to throw a ball again. And so my hockey dreams were over. And so I started bouncing around doing different things. I tried different jobs. I went to college. I ended up dropping out of college. And, over that time, developed some not so good habits. And so, I had found out that I did enjoy being in the gym, and I loved the feeling of leaving a gym, but, after a workout, but I developed some habits that were not so good. And some of those habits were, bad food and got into drinking alcohol and drinking beer in college. And I even smoked for a couple of years, and I got myself into this place where when I would start making progress towards my health and my well-being, I would self-sabotage. And so, here's the thing, right? I always was told growing up that I could be anything I wanted to be, that I could do something great with my life, but I never felt like I deserved it because number one, I wasn't doing the work. And number two, I knew that I had habits and things that were in the way that were holding me back. And so, getting into my college years, I ended up working different jobs, and I would drink in the evenings or drink on the weekends socially. Even worked in some bars and nightclubs, and worked in the restaurant industry, which didn't help at all. But I learned a lot over those years. I learned how to deal with people, and I learned how to work with people, and I learned how to talk to anybody. I learned how to introduce myself to people. I learned how to make friends with pretty much anyone. And I did some sales, I did some marketing, and I started, realizing that, hey, maybe I want to go in that direction. And so joined the insurance industry in 2014, and with a great company. And I actually broke the company sales record my first year in the business. And that record was subsequently broken soon thereafter. But I had some success. And then through that business, I actually found the industry of network marketing. And in network marketing, I really found a fit. I found a lane for myself where I could really dive in and I could learn and I could grow and I could do personal development. And I could also create a lot of relationships and build teams and make friends all over the world and make money at the same time while I was helping people. So I really decided that was a career move for me, and I jumped in and I started to have success. And here's the interesting thing about success is, when you get a little bit of success, what happens is that you just want to have more, right? You get a little bit and you're like, well, what's the next level? What's the next achievement, the next rank that I can get to, right? And maybe you can relate, if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner or somebody that started a company, or maybe you're just a high achiever in sales or some type of arena, when you start to have success, it's like, okay, well, how far can I go? And in that process, my health and my wellness and my overall well-being really started to take a toll. I really started to put it on the back burner because I was just focused on my business, and I was really, looking back, I was not loving myself. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was taking all my time and my energy and putting it into my family or my team or other people around me that I was pouring into, and I wasn't taking care of me. So fast forward to the COVID pandemic, 2020. I was living in Canada. I had moved out to BC, and there were lockdowns and there were restrictions. I wanted to go to the gym, but there were restrictions. I wanted to walk my dog, but there was lockdowns. And so I got to the point where I'm like, listen, I'm moving. I'm getting out of here. And I decided I was going to move to Mexico because I had been to Mexico a bunch of times, and I thought, there's beaches there, there's surfing there. But a friend of mine, convinced me to move to Costa Rica. And thank God I made that decision, because when I got to Costa Rica, I realized that this was a place of wellness and health and a beautiful, warm climate with beautiful beaches and people that were focused on self-improvement and wellness, right? And so I decided that, I was going to take advantage of being there, and I was going to learn how to surf. I was going to get my diet right. And I started doing other things, like I learned how to meditate. And I started learning how to tap into my inner game, during that time. And I started to understand that, all I had to do was just set an intention of what I wanted to accomplish. And then, I needed to put the pieces together. But again, the habits and the things that I developed over the years, I was making great money, and I was always taking the team out for dinner, or I was, having people over to the house and drinks and food and all these things. And my health and my fitness and my mental health, especially, was not the priority. And during COVID, especially during the pandemic, my mental health, sometimes it would be at a 9. Sometimes it'd be at like a 3 or a 4, and I would really be struggling, and I would be in my head a lot, and I would be trying to figure out, like, how do I break out of this? And what do I do? Do I just use willpower? Do I just, will myself to be happy or to feel better or to get rid of these negative emotions? But I was committed to learning, right? So, beginning of 2022, I actually went over to the neighboring country of Panama, where I live now, this beautiful place. And I fell in love with this country, and I decided to move down here. So we moved from Costa Rica to Panama. And what I learned about Panama very quickly was that people in Panama, especially in the gyms and in the fitness community, got a lot of energy, and they got a lot of passion towards health and wellness and fitness. And I thought, dude, you know what? I can take this to another level. So I went from, surfing and, eating healthy food and doing meditation and, being at the beach, to being in a city and realizing, like, now I can start hitting the gym, and now I can start, taking advantage of where I am and putting all this energy and really this head knowledge that I had, putting it to use, because over the years, I'd taken a personal training course in my 20s, and I understood a lot about the gym. I understood a lot about, how to train, also a lot about nutrition. And I had this knowledge, but I was stuck in the gap. And if you don't know what the gap is, John C. Maxwell talks about in one of his books, he says that the biggest gap in the world is the gap between knowing and doing. And that's where I was, right in the middle. So get to Panama, and a couple of things happen. A lot of times in life, we don't have control over, the curveballs that might be coming, or we may just not anticipate things that are coming, right? And sometimes God, moves the pieces on the chessboard for us to teach us things, or to make us better, and to give us new opportunities. And, so one of the things that happened for me was my business started to grow in the South Pacific. So I decided to take a trip to New Zealand. So I went down there, and when I was coming back, I was really inspired because I had an amazing trip, and that part of the world is just beautiful. And I love to travel, and I love, going to new places. But I was coming back, and I was really inspired, and I was listening to some audiobooks. And one of the audios I was listening to is by Bob Proctor. And he said in this audio, I'll never forget this. I was literally in the Denver airport about to board a plane. And I remember hearing Bob say that discipline is not negative. Discipline is an act of self-love, and discipline equals freedom. And, for me, I'll be totally vulnerable with you guys. I grew up in a fairly, strict environment. You could call it a religious home. And, I would get punished when I would do something bad, or I would always have the fear of God would punish me if I did something bad, or my parents would, or, I would see this word discipline, or I would hear this word discipline, and I had a negative story around it. And when Bob said that in that moment in 2022, I'll never forget, it was like my paradigm just shifted. And I realized that the things I wanted in my life were going to come if I became the person that could then do what I needed to do to have those things. So be, do, and have, right? But in order to become that person, I had to become disciplined. And so I changed my paradigm around discipline, and I really leaned into this idea of discipline equals freedom. And I was like, man, when I get home, how disciplined can I become, and what disciplines can I create? And I got excited about it. I got genuinely fired up about it. And then the second thing that happened was my wife and I, my ex and I, decided to split and separate. And we decided to get divorced and go our separate ways. And, looking back, it was the best thing that ever happened, because for me, I was able to then put myself in a situation where now I'm in complete control of my environment. I'm in complete control of the food in my fridge. I'm in complete control of the time that I have and what I do with my day, and also the direction I'm going in my future. And I had to look myself in the mirror, and I had to make some decisions. I had to go, who do I really want to be? And maybe you're at a point right now, or maybe you've been at a place before where you have to look yourself in the mirror, and you have to have a conversation with yourself. And I'll never forget that time, because I remember one night specifically, I was in my apartment in Panama City. It's probably like 2 a.m, and I was eating fast food that got delivered by, Uber Eats or something like that. And I had a half a glass of tequila, sitting on the counter, and I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I was just disgusted with what I saw. Like I was like, man, how did I get to this point where I'm out of shape, I'm overweight, I don't look the way I want, I don't feel the way I want to feel, I'm tired. I had bags under my eyes, I had blotchy skin, and I was just like, dude, like, what can you actually stick with? Like, what's one thing that you can actually stick with that you can build a foundation on? And so I went to YouTube and I started looking at different videos, and I found a guy who was talking about this push-up challenge. And he said, if you can do 90 days of push-ups, so 100 push-ups a day for 90 days, he's like, you will change your life. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to do it. I was literally like, dude, I don't want to do this, but I knew deep down, I was like, I need to do this, and I'm going to build a foundation on this. And I drew a line in the sand. I was like, I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of knowing, authentically knowing, like in my heart in my head and in my soul that I should be playing at a higher level, that I should be a different version of me. And I knew that authentically, my heart was telling me this, and my soul was like craving it. And I was like, I'm ready, So I drew a line in the sand. I started hitting the push-ups every day, and I started actually documenting it on my stories, and I was posting about it to create some accountability, because I knew that accountability was the key. If I didn't post it, if I didn't actually show people, and after I told them what I was going to do, if I didn't show them, then I probably wasn't actually going to follow through. So anyways, that was a moment in time where then I started building on this, right? So I finished the 90 days, and then I was in the gym 6 days a week, found an amazing gym, started testing different foods. I started going in and looking at like, what foods can I eat? What foods should I cut out, and testing them, right? Like, are they helping me build muscle? Are they keeping me lean? Do I feel good after? Do I sleep well after? How do I feel mentally, in my mental state after I eat certain foods? And so I started building that. And I started building this program for myself, where I really started evaluating and testing everything. And I guess the main thing I want to say is I started asking the hard questions. And, I believe that the quality of our life comes down to the quality of the questions that we ask. And so I started asking myself the hard questions, and I started getting answers. And, it's amazing, because what happened from there is, I put together what I call the formula. And so I'm going to share with you guys exactly what I did and exactly what I do. I still run this program to this day, on myself every single day. And it's just become honestly effortless now, because it's become habitual, and it's allowed me to stay at a high level and continue to elevate and continue to optimize, right? I'm in love with optimization. So the first thing that I did with all of this is I actually put together what I call the perfect grocery list. And so the perfect grocery list is I switched to eating whole foods. Okay, so I started eating more meat, more fruit, more vegetables. I cut out alcohol. I cut out added sugars. I cut out processed food. I didn't count calories, didn't count carbs, because I wanted to create something that was sustainable long term. But I started eating enough protein for my body weight. I started taking, a few simple supplements like creatine, vitamin D3, magnesium, and just stuff that, I knew would be effective. And I started to see amazing results. And then I also love to eat out. So I developed a restaurant guide, and I created a list of alternatives for alcoholic or sugary drinks. And then, when it came to ordering meals, like ordering high protein meals, no deep fried food, sourdough bread. If I'm ordering anything with bread, like a burger, replacing sugar with honey, things like that. And then I also learned how to boost my testosterone naturally, because most men, we have low testosterone, because we're literally doing so many things every day that cause our testosterone to tank. And so what I started doing was studying this stuff and learning that, like, hey, if I get enough good quality sleep every night, if I get sunlight every day, if I reduce my alcohol, if I lift weights and I train with a high intensity, if I reduce my stress, if I supplement the right way, right, with things like D3, eating the right diet, right, doing grounding, these types of things, like, we can keep our testosterone at a healthy level. And then after literally years of searching and testing different things, I also found the perfect combination of training. And so, what I found is that in order to stay lean and gain muscle and keep it, and also have high energy, the combination is this. It's walking every day, because walking uses like 200 different muscles, 45 minutes a day, and then lifting 45 minutes a day, and doing a 4-day split. So lift in the gym, 4 days on and 1 day off, and then incorporating things like stretching, incorporating sports, because I love sports. And I know if you're watching this, maybe you love playing sports as well. So creating a rhythm with it that I absolutely loved, right? And then the other thing I put together is what I call the secrets of mental health, because like I said, going through the pandemic was super hard for me, man. There were days when I would feel like I almost had like abandonment syndrome, where I felt like I had abandoned people behind when I left and moved to a different country. And then during my divorce, I felt like, I was going through all these, mentally challenging times where I was, reflecting on the past and thinking about the future and navigating, the situation. And I learned that if you can take care of your mind and your mental state, everything else falls into place. So the secrets of mental health, include things like learning how to breathe properly and doing breath work, cold water immersion, gratitude journal daily, prayer, connecting with my creator has been massive. Consistent exercise, getting sunlight, hydrating properly. I was just dehydrated for so long, and so many people are walking around dehydrated. And our brain is like 80% water, right? Cutting out added sugars, cutting out alcohol, eating whole and unprocessed foods, meditation, visualization, joining a supportive community. That's a massive one, is having a community around you of people that are doing the same things. And so this is like a list of tools, almost like a toolbox that you can pull whenever you need it, and you can help bring yourself up to where you want to be. And then, another thing is routine. I really struggled most of my life with routine because I thought, just like discipline, I had a negative story around routine. I thought, oh, people that have routine, they don't have fun, because I'm a fun loving guy. Like if it's not fun, I don't want to do it, there's things like, with routine, I would think, well, maybe, I'm going to lose my spontaneity, or I'm going to lose my freedom if I have a routine. But the reality is that, I discovered that if I condensed all the teachings on routine into something that works anytime, anywhere, and is actually achievable every single day, that could be something that I could really build momentum with. So my routine in the morning includes, a gratitude journal, right? 5 things I'm grateful for. Hydrating with mineral salt every morning, getting those electrolytes and those minerals, meditating, praying, keeping my phone on airplane mode every morning until I'm ready to actually start the day and go train and hit the gym. And then as far as, sleep and rest and recovery, I actually never saw someone teach on evening routine. So I created one. And this is something that will help, I knew would help me sleep better, will help me have peace of mind and calm down and get into that rest and recovery mode. And so in here, I have things like cutting caffeine 8 hours before bed, hot water or cold water at night for a shower, depending on what you prefer. Herbal tea, right? So sleepy time teas instead of drinking at night. So instead of having a cocktail, a tequila, a beer, a glass of wine, have a tea. And then eating healthy snacks, like high fiber, high protein snacks, like air pop popcorn, or, maybe a good protein bar. And then, doing a little bit of reading or watching some light TV, and then making sure that you get 8 hours of sleep, at night. That for me was massive. And then the other thing that I did was, because I love to travel so much, I've lived in 6 different countries. My goal is to hit 40 countries by 40, and I'm on my way to accomplish that. It's a part of my brand. It's a part of what I love to do. And so I wanted to create a lifestyle that I could follow and also enjoy. And so over the years, I designed a list of travel tips and secrets that actually work no matter what country you're in, or whether it's a business or a pleasure trip. And so these include 100 push-ups a day, 45-minute walk. Okay. So that'll keep you, maintaining where you're at. And then preparation, right? By bringing things like the right shoes. So I wear a Nike Gore-Tex shoe that I take with me everywhere I go. So whether it's rain, sun, ice, snow, mud, right? I can get outside. And then things like, the right snacks, bringing protein with you, bringing protein bars. When you arrive in your destination, making sure that you get a room with a fridge. So whether it's an Airbnb or a hotel, and then going to the local supermarket and taking the perfect shopping list and picking up things like Greek yogurt, eggs, fruit, coffee, those types of things, so that you can stay dialed in and you can stay on track. And the biggest thing obviously is as well finding places to train. So when you're out, learning, okay, how do I find a good gym? And then even making a connection there, or having a friend refer you to that place so you can get, go to a drop-in, meet the people that are working there, really making it a fun experience where you enjoy traveling and training in different places, or even maybe just going outside. But the key is learning how to have fun and enjoy it and turning it into a lifestyle, So guys, all this to say, this experience and, me doing this, was absolutely transformational, right? All right. So there's really 3 ways that you can go at the end of this video, right? There's 3 different types of people. Person number 1 is saying, you know what, I'm just going to take this information and I'm going to go try and do it myself. Because let's be honest, I've given you a lot of great information here and really broken it down specifically, the exact formula. But for myself, when I tried to do it on my own, I would watch YouTube videos. I would go on Instagram. I would go online. I would research. I'd go to events, and I would really try to use willpower to just make the changes and make the necessary adjustments myself. And it took me years to be able to get any progress or gain any ground, right? And then there's the other side of the spectrum, which is the people that are, you know what, I just want a shortcut to success, right? I call it the done for you mentality, where it's like, I just want somebody to do this for me. Like, could I just get the surgery or get the medication, or maybe, find a better gym, or maybe there's a way that I can just shortcut my way to the end. And I can tell you right now that no matter how much information you get, and no matter how many shortcuts you try to find, there is no shortcut to transforming your health and your body and your mindset. It really does take you doing it the right way. And so that's what this program and that's what this video is all about. And I want to talk to the people that are right in the middle. So there's the do it yourself, and then there's the done for you, and then there's the middle, which is the done with you. All right. And so if you're a done with you type of person, maybe you've played on a team before. Maybe you're somebody that you love being around like-minded people. You love building a network of people that are running in the same direction as you. And you find value in having that support and in having a community around you. I really believe that community is currency. So what I've created, I want to talk to you guys in the middle right now about what I've created. And that is my brand new offer called the Formula Program. Okay. So I'm going to break down exactly what it is that you're going to get and how it's going to work. And, I want to speak specifically to the guys right now. If you're a guy that has had some success, maybe as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, maybe as an executive, or you have a highly paid job, or maybe you're in sales or marketing, or you're somebody that's just, you go all in on everything that you do and everything that you touch, right? You're the type of person that I want to talk to, and I want to share my new offer with you. This Formula Program consists of a few different aspects and elements. And I'm going to share real quickly how it works, because this thing was designed specifically to get you results fast. I believe that one of the best things we can invest in is investing in speed. If there's a way to get where we want to go faster, I believe that is the greatest investment we can make as far as getting results. Finding people that have the results that we want and running with them, and then investing in speed. And so here's how it breaks down. Number one, you're going to get the Formula Program. So you are going to get everything I just shared with you. You're going to get the perfect shopping list. Okay. You are going to get the morning and evening routine. You're going to get the perfect workouts, the supplement guide, the restaurant guide, the travel guide, all of these things. And I'm actually going to, take your information, your goals, and exactly what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And then we're going to have a 1-hour onboarding call together. So you're going to get a 1-hour onboarding call with me, where I'm going to break down the program with you, and we're going to make a plan to accomplish your goals in the first 12 weeks, but also set you on a path where you have the right habits so that you can actually go and create massive momentum and optimize yourself over the next months and years to come. And these changes can last a lifetime. All right. The second thing you're going to get is you're actually going to get the community. So I've created a private WhatsApp group with all the guys in here. We've got guys in 8 countries right now and counting, that are all, like-minded people and guys that are doing the exact same things as you. So I'm running this play. I'm running this program. I'm on this same speed and vibration, and we're all in this same rhythm together. So when you join that group, you're going to see there is going to be guys in there that want to encourage you. There's going to be guys in there that can answer your questions. There's going to be people in there you can network with, and relationships. There's already guys forming friendships around the world inside of the community, which is absolutely amazing. And I could not be more happy about this, And then the last piece of the puzzle is going to be the one-on-one check-in calls. All right. So this group, and this program is designed around accountability. So as I talked about earlier, it takes 67 days to build a habit. And when you build the right habits, this almost becomes effortless. And so how you build the habits is through weekly one-on-one accountability check-in calls. So you're going to get a check-in call once a week at the same time, the same day, a time that works for you, when we can hop on and we can have a conversation about, hey, how are you doing with all this? Do you have any questions? What do you want to focus on for the next 7 days? How do you feel mentally and physically right now this week? And how can we take it to the next level over the next week? And week by week by week, as you stay plugged in, you're going to see that, the first month is really about the adjustments. I call it the adjustment period, where you're making the necessary adjustments. You're starting to make these lifestyle changes. Month 2 of the 12 weeks is what I call the habit forming period, where all these things start to become habitual. And you're going to start to be like, wow, you know what? I'm loving this. I'm in this new rhythm. I'm in this new vibration. And then the third month is the optimization phase. And the optimization phase is where, we can bring the intensity up a little bit. We can look at how far you've come and the progress you're making, and we can start to ramp it up a little bit even more and make the necessary tweaks and adjustments to really customize this for you, so that when you come out of this, you are just firing on all cylinders, right? You have regained control of your life in all areas, and everything has come into alignment. So if that's you, if you're listening to this and you're like, yo, that's me, man, that sounds exactly like what I need right now, I want you to go ahead and click the link below at the bottom of this video in the description. And that's a link to our calendar. And we're going to hop on a call with you. It's probably going to be me personally hopping on a call with you. And we're going to see exactly, what your goals are and, where you're at right now, and break down for you exactly how this works and how this can be transformational in your life. And then if you're watching this on Instagram, go ahead and just send me a DM with the word formula. All right. And I'm personally going to reach out to you and we'll have a conversation. And I'm excited, man. I'm really excited to see you guys, to communicate, to get to know you guys, have a conversation with you. And I just want to say welcome to this channel. Please go ahead and leave a comment, like this video, subscribe to the channel. And go ahead and click the link below to book a call with me. And we'll talk to you guys soon, and we'll see you guys in the next one.